their exposure and to minimize your claim and to maximize essentially them not paying very much for your claim or paying zero for that matter. So be very careful who you talk to, what you sign. Call a lawyer. It's free to talk to me. It's free to talk to pretty much any personal injury lawyer I know that knows what they're doing. So be careful who you talk to and what you sign.
What's the number over there if they want to get a hold of you?
1-877-730-1777 or email me personally at Brian, BRIAN, at goldfingerlaw.com, and Goldfinger just like the James Bond movie.
Brian Goldfinger of Goldfinger Personal Injury Law, Extra 90.5. It is 10:41. All right. That's enough legal stuff. I know you're a big basketball fan, big Raptors fan. What did you make of what happened last night?
First and foremost, God bless the Raptors for getting to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 21 years. So everyone's got to take this into perspective, because at the start of the year, if you read all the blogs and the reviews and prognostications, they said that the Raps aren't even making the playoffs. And if they do make the playoffs, they won't even make it by the first round because they don't have it. Last year, they got swept by the Washington Bullets, a.k.a. Wizards, in 4. That was embarrassing.
You refuse to conform to the Wizards. They're the Bullets for you.
They're the Bullets for me, absolutely. So the fact that the Raptors, minus Jonas Valanciunas for a good part of the playoffs, with DeMar DeRozan shooting and Lowry, they're shooting an all-time record low in terms of shooting percentage. For them to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals is amazing. Let's look at the 4 teams in the conference finals. You have a Hall of Famer in LeBron James. You have a Hall of Famer in Steph Curry. You have a Hall of Famer in probably Durant, maybe Westbrook. The Raptors are the only team of that 4 probably not to have a Hall of Famer. Okay? Of those 4 teams, they're also the only team not to be in the luxury tax. So the NBA is a salary cap league, as we all know. And money equals essentially better players.
Yep.
And the Toronto Raptors, they're the only team without a luxury tax. They're the only team without the luxury tax going on right now, which is fantastic. They beat a Hall of Famer in Dwayne Wade, and they beat an excellent player who might make the Hall of Fame. I don't know. I don't think so, and Paul George, but he's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
So if you look at where they were to where they are today, kudos on them, and we got to look at the bright side. Like, this is the first time that the Raptors have been playing, and today is May 20th. And the Raptors are still playing May 20th. It's the latest they've played, and it's the first time that I've ever known the Raptors to still be playing in the playoffs, and the draft lottery happened simultaneously, and the Raptors had a pick in the draft lottery. It's amazing. So if you're a Raptor fan, you got to be loving this.
I'll tell you what, Brian, if your career in law services doesn't work out, I think he's got an opportunity as a sporting host there, Colin.
That was an excellent breakdown.
He broke that one down.
Thanks, guys.
We couldn't do much better than that. Yeah, you mentioned the Raptors' salary cap. I think they're 24th out of 30 teams.
Something crazy like that. So if you look at the big picture, this is fantastic. I thought that the Raptors beating Dwayne Wade in a Game 7 was just huge. Because Dwayne Wade, if you watch that series, he hit, I think, something like 4 3-pointers all regular season. And then all of a sudden, come playoff time,
he couldn't miss.
He couldn't miss. So I expected Dwayne Wade just to take over that game single-handedly. And I expected Dwayne Wade knowing it's beyond basketball for Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. They know that the matchup, LeBron versus Dwayne Wade in the conference finals, there's a lot of eyes on that series. And for Dwayne Wade to have lost that series and for the Heat to have lost that series, that was monumental. Meaning the Raptors to have won that series, it was huge. So that, for me, that was the pinnacle of this season. And anything now is gravy. The fact that the Raptors are still playing is gravy. Look at the guys on the Raptors lineup right now who are on their bench. You have 4 players who are in the D-League. You have Bruno, a D-Leaguer. You have Bebe, a D-Leaguer. You have Norman Powell, a second-round pick, a D-Leaguer. And DeLon Wright, a D-Leaguer. That's 4 players who are playing in the D-League who are now playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. And you have 2 first-round draft picks coming up this year. One is a top 10 pick. It's pretty crazy.
That is pretty good. That is pretty good, yeah. You got to like their overall situation no matter what happens with DeMar DeRozan.
And that's why I give praise to Dwayne Casey. I mean, you might look at him as an offensive guy that doesn't really know how to get the best out of his players, but in terms of what he's had to work with, he's done a fantastic job with what he's been given.
Yeah, Dwayne Casey, I've been really critical of him over the years because I think X and O's, I don't think he's the strongest coach in terms of making adjustments also during the game. He's more so better after game, and I think that's been noted in the playoffs. Having said that, though, I agree with you. He's done a great job with what he has, and I think he's developed a lot as a coach. throughout the playoffs, the course of the playoffs. And we also have to remember, when he was in Dallas, he was an assistant coach. He wasn't the one calling the shots. So I think it's a totally different thing when you're the guy calling the shots as opposed to you're the assistant giving proposals or perhaps not calling the shots.
Yeah, he was the assistant to Rick Carlisle, and they ended up beating LeBron James and the Miami Heat in the finals in 2011. Okay, Brian, if people want your sporting takes and law advice, what's that number again they can reach you?
You can reach me at 1-877-730-1777 or by way of email at Brian, BRIAN, at goldfingerlaw.com.
Will you come back and do this again soon, next time you're in Peterborough?
Guys, if the Petes are playing, if the Raptors are still playing, I'd absolutely be here. It was an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me in.
That is our man, Brian Goldfinger of Goldfinger Personal Injury Law. And here, let's give him a little send-off here.
Goldfinger, he's the man with the Midas touch.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Yeah, he is Goldfinger.
That was great, guys. Thank you.
All right, Brian. Up next, we'll recap some of the best stories of the week we didn't quite get to, plus we'll have to give some credit to the San Jose Sharks. You were listening to The Regulars. It is Talk Sports Radio, Extra 90.5.